Yo guys, welcome back to the Blue Podcast. This is the Purple Show with me, Tom, Ben, Cam, and Fab. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Lovely stuff. Before we get into it, thank you for the support on this show lately. It's been very, very nice. This will be on Spotify as always. Check out our merch, which only Cam's wearing today, and our Twitter at the Blue Podcast 1 and Instagram at the Blue Podcast 1. Well, it's been a boring week, really, of football. To be honest, yesterday's game was boring. Chelsea game in midweek was boring. It was boring from an outside point of view because really it was 0-0. Who cares?
We're a Chelsea fan.
Fair enough, but it was not a boring game. I am not happy.
City won 1-0. You kind of went back to the old City, couldn't score more than one goal, but kept a clean sheet, so it's fair enough. And then Liverpool won quite convincingly against Spurs, to be honest, didn't they?
That's just what we do, you know what I'm saying?
All right, I'll get the results up. So we had Newcastle Leeds 2-1. Who cares? West Ham Palace again. Do you want to talk about either of those two games?
Didn't watch them. Don't know anything about them.
Up next,
the West Ham game was quite interesting, but because they came back.
Souček scored 2, didn't he?
Yeah, they only came back from 2 down, I think. But
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Southampton 1, Arsenal 3. Cam, give us your opinions.
Yeah, it's solid, absolutely solid. Probably one of our best performances this season against Southampton, who, to be fair, they haven't been great recently, but they have been outstanding in this season, like considerably. They played. Southampton played quite well. We were just better. That's just how it is. I think that game was Smith Rowe played really well. Saka played really well, and we played a lot better against them now or Tuesday than in the cup. And I'd say that game in the league was more important than the cup game for us because of how poorly we've been doing in the league. So I was really happy with that. Really, really happy.
Fair enough. I know I saw bits of the highlights, and Saka looked like he was your best player again.
Mm-hmm.
So you think he is your best player currently, or?
Right now, probably, yeah. But we missed him yesterday against Man United. As soon as the team sheet came out, I was shitting myself because there was no Saka, and we were not. I was not expecting that. As far as I was concerned, he was fit. But I think you could see a difference when he wasn't on the pitch, which he's 19, and that probably shouldn't be the case. But
yeah, it's easy to forget he's 19. He really is like a young superstar in the Prem at the moment.
But I'd say he probably is. He's our MVP. If you had MVP awards, he'd be our MVP right now. So, yeah. But that Southampton game was quite good.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Ben, you beat West Brom 5-0. You spoke about a bit of it with on the live stream we were on Friday. Do you want to elaborate?
Yeah, I just said that it was a good performance by us, but no disrespect to West Brom, but it is West Brom. Yeah. And then I think the other thing was that they were saying, "Oh, we're coping without Aguero and De Bruyne," and I said that we won't know if we're coping without them until next month when we play Liverpool, Tottenham, and Arsenal in a row. So, yeah, that's basically it.
Will De Bruyne be back by then?
De Bruyne won't be. Aguero might be. De Bruyne possibly, but because they said up to 6 weeks, so he could come back earlier, but I don't know.
Pep will push him because he's too important for their season. So yeah,
I think it's the United game in March that he'll be back for. So
yeah,
you're not doing too badly without him at the moment, really.
Yeah.
At the moment, you're not missing him, but in those big games, you might.
Yeah. Well, you scored 6 and 2, so you can't really be doing too badly, and conceded no goals again this week. So I think my prediction. We'll do our Champions League, League Cup, and Premier League winning predictions later on for the scores and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think City are doing very well right now. Chelsea 0-0 Wolves. Most passes in a half this season. Come on, Tuchel. I'd say the only positive that came from that is Hudson-Odoi looked really good. I don't know if it was because of the position he was playing. He played right wing back, then he played left wing back, but he looked really good. Havertz looked more confident, but again, did Jack. What else was there? Jorginho's too slow, and he fits like the Sarri ball. Probably does fit Tuchel as well because he wanted to bring him in to PSG, but he gets the ball, he does a couple of touches and passes it. If he gets pressured, he starts fumbling the ball between his feet, and he looks very worrying. Whereas Kovacic looked very solid. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Kovacic and Kante in the 2 6s that I think he's going to start playing for Chelsea today at 12. But yeah, boring game, to be honest. We should have won it, but it is what it is.
You really should have won that.
Should have won that. The chances we had.
Really should have won that.
But out of form, Wolves as well. Anyway, Burnley beat Villa, which I think was a bit of a shock, but not so much of a shock because obviously I'm going to bring this up again. They beat Liverpool 1-0 before.
At home. Liverpool at home.
We forgive and forget. We're not talking about that anymore. Right.
Burnley, but I think that's kind of a shock result, though. To be fair, considering Villa's running form before they had that massive COVID hit, but I think they haven't quite recovered, have they?
Not completely. Grealish is still their best player. That's going to be until he's there. Until he leaves, he's still going to be their best player. Everything goes through him, but they just couldn't. Burnley 3 goals. I think 3 goals from set pieces as well, or following set pieces. They are a dead ball team, aren't they? They are a dead team. So, I was surprised at that though. I was shocked at that. I've never seen. I can't remember the last time I saw Burnley score 3 goals. So
I mean, I think
he starts speaking and he cracks
I think
up.
I saw the highlights on
you saw the highlights?
The highlights on when was it? Wednesday. Yeah. I think Villa absolutely smashed him in the first half, didn't they? They just didn't score enough. So that's what allowed Burnley to come back. But then the match that they played yesterday against Southampton smashed them.
Yeah, I think we'll get into the Southampton Villa game because I've got a piece to say on that. I was watching it and I was in shock watching that game. It was ridiculous. Yeah. But Brighton 0-0 Fulham. Big game here. Man United 1, Sheffield United 2. Bottle Job United back at it again.
Come on, Sheffield. Second win of the season. We'd love to see it.
I went into this game thinking we're going to smash them, clear them off the park. But fair play. Ampadu had a class game. He was all known from Chelsea, and I like to sprinkle in the Chelsea stuff as always. But
absolutely awful. Man United, and they think they could win the Premier League. I know. Absolutely abysmal.
They didn't know what to do with themselves.
Huh?
How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Lose against Sheffield United at home, at Old Trafford. Martial.
He was shocking.
Don't condone what he got after the match, like getting racially abused.
Oh, yeah.
But
Twinsaby as well. And Rashford today, apparently.
That's Man United fans are just...
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Not all of them. Some of them need to sort themselves out because that's not right. But, I mean, Martial played poorly in that Sheffield game. He was at fault. For me, him and Pogba were at fault for the second goal that they conceded. Not picking up Ollie Burke. Ollie Burke is cool. And they are, honestly, that made my day. I
think it certainly made Fab and Ben's day more than us, to be honest, considering they're in the title race and we aren't.
But it's easy to forget in the reverse fixture, Man United came from behind to win it as well. I mean, obviously their away form's phenomenal at the moment, but they did sort of, have to pull out the bag to get the 3 points. So I think this has been a long time coming for this United side. You know, you start, you know, conceding goals to these bottom teams. Not something I like to talk about in terms of Liverpool, but you know, we move. But you know, as you've seen with us, you're going to drop points one day or another, and you need to pull out, you know, solid clean sheets against these bottom sides if you want to win the Prem.
This is the thing about Man United, is that when they win, I never see them win convincingly. I never see like a proper like dominating performance where they control the whole game for 90 minutes. I do not see that happening, and they always get away with it. They always get away with it.
I want to counter that though. I thought they actually dominated Liverpool in the cup.
But I mean,
that's it.
The cup game.
Yeah, cup game.
Oh, really? Not
dominant. No, they looked way better than you in the second half, and they were going to
in the second half. The start of the second half, there was a period of time after half time where we were dominating them. You know, near the end, they almost got a winner, but I'd almost say the opposite. I think for the majority of the game, we had the better chances. We had more expected goals than they did. We had the better chances. But, you know, as I said, I think on the last podcast, they could have easily nicked it at the end. But, you know, I think Cam's right. I haven't seen a dominant United display, and I think that'll come back to bite them.
And I mean, especially I think against the big, or the big six, the top teams in the league, where they haven't won against a big club in the league so far, regardless of the big six, which is Arsenal, Chelsea, City, Tottenham, Liverpool, and that's it. Maybe someone else. I can't count. They haven't won. Like, they literally haven't won. And that's what Arsenal did. For seasons, we couldn't get results against the big teams, and that's when we came fourth for like 5 seasons.
Haven't United only scored from set pieces against big six teams this season?
They scored one, and it was against Spurs in the 6-1 loss.
But I think it was from a set. It was from a set piece. They've only scored from set pieces against the top six.
It's the complete opposite to United last season. They turned up every game with these top six.
But honestly, and it takes a goal to be conceded against them for them to turn up and for them to wake up, which you're just playing risk. Like if it takes a goal conceded for them to wake up and start playing football, then something's wrong. Like, it just honestly.
Yeah.
And joke of a club. Unbelievable.
Well, Everton won, Leicester won. Possible top 4 contenders, both of them. Although I think Everton are probably out of it after this weekend. Leicester, I think. Do you think Leicester, because obviously they're not going to have this break like they did last season? Do you think they might have learned from last season, and they look like they're going to probably push on to try and get that 4th spot, maybe?
They do. I mean, they're just steadily getting along, aren't they? I think they're just kind of getting by slowly.
Yeah, but they're not really losing any games, are they?
Yeah.
So,
it was in our predictions on that live stream, said that we would go City, Liverpool, United, Leicester for the top 4.
In no particular order, but yeah.
Yeah, and I said maybe Spurs, but I went with Leicester in the end. So I mean, that shows how they're doing. But like you say, because there's no break this time, maybe they'll just get over the line. But
it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be close because
I wouldn't. It's going to be tough to call the league, which I think I'm going to try and get it sorted for next week. That I've got every team we had in positions from the 500 subscriber special. So that would be fun. Spurs 1, Liverpool 3. Go on, Fab. Give us your piece.
Yeah, we were sort of back to our best. You know, a really, really good game all round. I think Trent had a really good game. It sort of all came together as well. We just started, the floodgates almost opened a little bit, and we just finally got that final touch in the final third. And that just allowed us to kind of basically dominate this Tottenham side, who just almost, they didn't. I don't think they quite expected us to go and score this many. They were kind of doing the same strategy as last time, kind of holding out and trying to get that last minute winner, which can work. But if you make too many defensive mistakes, which is what they did, it's small errors and you can lose the game just like that.
I think in the first 5 minutes it was you scored. I know they didn't. They scored. Son scored disallowed. You scored as well. Honestly, watching the first 5-10 minutes was quite entertaining. And it could have gone. It could have gone either way.
It could have gone either way. I think we just had a bit of a shaky start. Personally, I think we just weren't quite. It happens with this Liverpool side sometimes. We just get we're just a little bit out of it as a team. I think it happens to every team, and sometimes you just need a bit of a wake up call. And I think that's on this loud goal was sort of a little bit of a wake up call. Snap out of it, start playing some football, and it worked. I was a bit gutted Salah's goal was offside, but you live and learn. The thing is Ndombele, I think, scored that.
No, it was Højbjerg.
Scored that. It wasn't a volley. It was just a shot from the outside of the box. And I, credit, that was a pretty sick goal. Reminded me a bit of Stevie G, I can't lie. So credit to that. I'd say main thing was Trent and Robbo were kind of back, especially Trent were back in form. That was definitely the big turnaround because he's strung together a couple poor performances recently, Trent. And there was a lot of criticism. They were talking about how young he is. It was just all a little bit, especially for a youngster, quite hard to deal with. But he's basically shut everyone up with that performance.
He definitely showed his quality, and he showed it against the Spurs team, which are quite dangerous this season. So if there was a time to do it, he did it at the right time, I think.
Yeah, I think it wasn't your tweet. Liverpool are back.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, well, one last thing as well. I remembered when I was watching that game. There was some sort of Q&A for Liverpool, and Henderson, I think it was asked who crosses better, Trent or Robbo, and he said he didn't give an answer because obviously be a little bit rude, but he did say with Robbo crosses you get a bit more of a precise cross coming in, whipped in, plenty of spin, plenty of precision, whereas with Trent you just get a proper stinger of a cross coming whipped into the box. I think that worked out really well for us because you saw, I think it was the second goal or the first one, I can't quite remember, where Trent just whizzes in that ball. The defender for Tottenham at the front post, he wasn't prepared for it. He kind of tried to chest it. It was in his face. He couldn't deal with it. And we got a bit lucky. Mane got a bit lucky with the rebound. But, having those sort of types of crosses come in, you're going to get goals from them. And I think, if we carry on putting those crosses in, we're going to carry on getting goals. And I think that's sort of just what's been missing a little bit recently. We just haven't been putting those balls into the box, getting the men into the box quite enough.
I'd say that it's those positions that your fullbacks take up, where it's kind of halfway from the box and the halfway line, and they're out on the wing, and they can give us early crosses, and they've got the ability to pick out like the perfect ball. A bit like De Bruyne does sometimes when he drifts out wide and then whips the ball in from 35 yards out. And then that just causes problems because defenders don't expect it. They've already got their back turned, they're not ready for it, and then all they know is it's behind them, and there's a attacker behind them that's on it. So I think Trent's missed that a little bit this season. He's not been quite on that as much, but.
I think I saw something that they were talking about the fullback. So naturally Liverpool are most well known for having those fullbacks just drift further and further up the pitch. But I think because we were doing less well recently, stringing some poor performances together, and especially the fact of having two centre backs out and having to have like a midfielder cover, it sort of meant our fullbacks couldn't go just as far forward as they normally do, and just couldn't put as many crosses in.
Yeah.
And in general with our team, the more crosses we put in, the more goals we get.
Yeah.
If you cut off that supply, then you kind of changing the whole team around, and it's natural that we're just not going to score as much. Whereas with this Tottenham game, we were just a little bit more confident in pushing our fullbacks back to how they used to be, and we reaped the rewards from that. And I think that sort of shows what we mean when we say we're back. We're putting crosses back in and we're scoring goals. It's what we did last season, and it's what we need to do this season to win the Prem.
How good as well is Thiago? Every time I've seen him and watch him play, I'm impressed. But
A lot of
he just
Liverpool
makes
fans
it
don't
look
like
so
him.
easy for me.
He played.
I
He
think
played
it's
better.
just a bit like superstitious, because people were saying we haven't won a game with them yet, and I just it's just an assumption that I think it's a little bit stupid, a little bit short-sighted, saying things like that. I think he's a really good player. I think it'll take him till the end of the season to fully adapt to the Prem and our team and our style of play. But I tell you what, he's got a ball and a half on him, and I liked him in the more forward role as well, where he could just get the ball into his feet and play that final third pass, which is something we don't really have in our team at the moment. Henderson, Wijnaldum, that they don't really get that many assists. We don't have that sort of aggressive player that can thread the ball for us. Normally, Firmino or Salah even gets sort of assists through long balls and stuff like that, whereas Thiago is just like a different level of attack, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Salah didn't get anybody points this weekend, and I had him at captain, so that's brilliant for my fantasy team anyway.
Well, I captain Cancelo, so
You captain Cancelo?
Yeah.
You for real actually captain Cancelo?
Yeah.
What, this week or last week?
This week I captained him. He didn't play, which means that it's going to go to Salah instead. So
that's not too bad.
Fair enough. Well, I think another shock result here was Newcastle 2, Everton 0. As I said earlier, Everton probably out the top 4 race now if they're losing 2-0 to Newcastle.
Yeah, lovely stuff.
Would you say that Chelsea and Arsenal are out of the top 4 race, Tom?
Not yet. We'll see how today goes.
Exactly. So Everton, if by that logic, I don't think Everton can be counted out yet either.
I'm making good quotes. Cam, just to try and get people talking. I got to get people talking. What was that?
I was quite impressed with Wilson that game. I've sung his praises before when he played against us. I think he's a quality player. He just wasn't getting the supply.
They changed tactics that game, didn't they?
Yeah, they played it more offensively, didn't they, or attacking?
I don't think it was even that. And like normally they used to play 3. They tried playing like 3 up front, like a 4-3-3. It just didn't work. They had like 4 or 5 attacking players on the pitch, and all good ones as well. And they just didn't score. And they kind of reverted back to a more, I think it was a default 4-4-2, and that's what got them the goals against Everton. So
I think for them, Saint Maximin is really important for them because they've not really got a player like him. Almiron's been trying to fill his boots, but it's just not the same. Saint Maximin is like he's quality, but he just gets injured.
Yeah, I think Newcastle will have a bit of a comeback this season.
But Lascelles just got injured again as well, though. So and he's important for their defence. He's a good centre back, and he's just been injured as well. So
yeah, but again, if we go talk about fantasy team again, I swapped bloody Wilson for Antonio this weekend. So happy days, happy bloody days. Crystal Palace 1, Wolves 0. If Palace can beat Wolves, we should bloody beat Wolves. City 1, Sheffield United 0. Give us your piece then, Ben. Go
on. Like you were saying before, it's like City before the recent run, which I sort of agree with, but also he rotated, so it changed the sort of players and the system that he's been playing recently. Because obviously he can't play the same players week in, week out.
No.
Because he instead of playing with a false 9, he had Jesus playing up top. He had, one positive was that he rotated in defence and put Laporte in with Diaz. and we still kept a clean sheet, which is promising.
Yeah.
And then I think he started with Torres as well, who hasn't really started many games.
He got an assist, didn't he?
Yeah, his assist was good because it wasn't like a De Bruyne like cross or anything, but he didn't give up on it.
No. And Ethan Ampadu basically gave it to him.
Yeah.
With the header, which went rather than going forwards, went backwards towards his own goal, and then straight to Torres, who then put it in. But he battled well for it.
Yeah. So yeah, it sort of was going back to before this recent run, but also there was rotation, so I won't be too harsh on them. But yeah, and then also he brought Cancelo in, who has been quite key recently. So yeah.
It's 3 points.
We did what we needed to do,
yeah.
Basically. But I think especially in those matches against top six, we need to have Cancelo play and go back to that false nine system. Have a Mahrez playing, maybe something like that.
Fair enough. All right. Well, do you want to come back? Do you want to talk about the Arsenal Man United game then?
Well.
The boring game.
Where do I begin? How long have we got? Oh, keep it short and sweet. Our team that we put out is not our strongest team. We were without Tierney, without Saka, without Aubameyang, without Gabriel as well, because he's just come back from injury or from COVID. So considering the team we put out, I will take a draw. However, there was chances in the game to win the game. Lacazette hitting the bar, Smith Rowe testing De Gea, and if it wasn't for Leno and Cavani's poor finishing, Man United could have won the game as well. So I think a draw is probably a fair result, considering neither of us could take our chances. But both of us will feel as though we should have come out with more. I thought that Leno was outstanding in the first half, didn't have much to do in the second half. Some of the saves he pulled off were incredible. That's why he's better than De Gea. And then I thought Luke Shaw was good for Man United. I thought Cedric filled in well at left back. David Luiz was man of the match for Sky, probably just for celebrating, deflecting Fernandez's free kick away, solely because of that. But apart from that, he had a good game. Rob Holding was really solid. Bellerin was a bit. Xhaka was better than Partey in midfield. Partey was a bit off, but still okay. But apart from that, no. It was quite. I was bricking myself sat here watching it. Not gonna lie, but I mean, draw's a draw. Man, it's a better result for us than Man United, because that means Man United have dropped 5 points in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
So I mean,
good on you, Cam. Good on Arsenal to drop United some more points.
Yeah, I watched the highlights and some of those Cavani chances.
Oh,
like
I know. There was the one where Luke Shaw pings it across, and then they thought it went out for a corner. They thought it came off an Arsenal defender.
Yeah, he just had to open out his foot a bit more, and that's in.
It was an open goal, and he just missed it. He literally just he made connection with the ball and just missed. And someone like Cavani, you'd expect him to be gobbling that up all day of the week. But I mean, let's take McTominay off. They brought on Martial, and then Cavani had another chance, kind of like a half bicycle kick at the end, about 87th, 88th minute to win the game. And again, off that, Martial could have come onto it, but I mean,
he probably would have missed it anyway, to be fair.
Probably. We brought on Willian at half time, and when he came on, I thought it was over. I thought we were done out here.
Why was he brought on?
Martinelli, brought on for Martinelli because Martinelli was playing well, but he wasn't really. He couldn't get forward because he was constantly tracking back to Mark Rashford. And actually, he did some really important defensive work to stop Rashford from scoring. But he wasn't really in the game going forward. So I think Willian was brought on just to shore up the left side, especially with Cedric playing left back. He's not a left back. So, and to be fair, Willian played all right. He didn't do anything, but he wasn't detrimental. He didn't actually do anything that negatively impacted the team. So I will let that slide.
Yeah.
But then I've heard a lot of Arsenal fans watching AFTV, just watching other few Arsenal channels. They think that some of the Man United players should have been sent off.
Bruno Fernandes, yeah, I saw that.
So I mean, that wasn't even a yellow.
It should have been at least a yellow.
I agree. It was a yellow.
What did he do?
I'm not sure to go as far as being sent off.
Down the back of Xhaka's calf.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't catch that.
But I mean, there was Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, Pogba, who were all on yellows, who then also made more challenges on a yellow card, where if it was another referee, you could argue that one of them could have been sent off. Especially, I think Maguire, because Lacazette was good. Like, he was good all game, targeting Maguire. And there was ones where he turned Maguire and then Maguire pulls him back and he's on a yellow. And nothing comes from it. And it's like, well, it would have been a bit soft, but something like that would have changed the game for us. So
yeah, fair enough. Well, speaking of bad refereeing decisions, or am I moving on too quickly?
No.
I was just going to say that that second Cavani chance is like, because he was having to go back for it, and like you say, Martial was steaming in for that chance, so he should have been screaming at him. Not saying that Martial would have put it away, but he was in a better position to put it away.
Yeah, I agree as well. It was literally just a case of two strikers in the same position.
Yeah,
and neither of them wants to let it up, so they just both go for it and end up cocking it up. So
yeah,
which is good for us because that was literally the last 2 minutes of the game. So
Yeah.
Well, anyway, as I was saying, sorry, before I let Ben finish. Bad refereeing decisions. Southampton versus Aston Villa, 1-0 Aston Villa. Trav, did you watch the game?
no,
Yeah, I watched the first half.
Firstly, how was that not a handball? I will never know. And the fact that VAR watched it so many times and didn't say it was a handball, I'm confused.
I don't understand that. I mean,
and then the disallowed Ings goal. Danny Ings's armpit hair was offside, and like it was literally the Aston Villa's bum cheek hair that wasn't long enough. Literally, that was it. That was onside. Like that was onside.
Very frustrating, and I thought Ings had. Yeah,
they did it from like here on his arm. Who scores like that?
I don't know. It's a bit silly, really, but I thought Ings looked really, really good that game. I thought he deserved at least one goal. That touch for the first half penalty chance where he took it around that defender like a 360.
Oh, that was so nice.
I don't even know what you call that, but it was just a bit of wizardry, right? And it deserved a finish. And I think I just remember seeing that VAR replay, and his arm comes towards the ball. It's not right at the start. He kind of stays still, but when the ball's about to hit me, he actually moves into it. And I don't know how you can not give that a penalty when we've had penalties go against us for Robbo, clipping a player because the player's moved the ball. It's not even a foul, right?
Yeah.
And we've been given a lot worse than that. It's such an obvious pen. I can't see the logic in that.
It was shocking. We'd spoken about how VAR hadn't really done any bad decisions for a while, and then they just had one of their worst games of the season. So
I think we did say it was coming, because they've not cocked it up, that it's going to come, and it's going to keep on happening. But what's the solution? How can they? What can you do?
But that's just being thick as thick as pigs.
Yeah, I think
that
everyone
decision.
watching that had the same conclusion, but it's about consistency, and that just was the opposite of consistent. I'm sorry, but that just didn't match up. You know, to be honest, I didn't see the offside because I didn't watch the second half. But if it was visually offside, even by an armpit hair, you know, whatever, if that's what it takes for them to be consistent, fine. But that you know, handball in the box, I'm sorry, but you have to give that if you're going to give it for other stuff as well.
I get that the rule is that if it comes off another part of your body and then hits your hand, that's not offside. That's not a handball, apparently. But then you've got to take into account his hands in an unnatural position, like and then so like before they changed like all the handball stuff, it was like it mattered about intention and an unnatural position. And then it was like it doesn't matter about intention if it is your hand, like that's handball. And then I don't even know if it matters if it's about intention or not now. Like like you know.
So it didn't bounce off of his body. It went straight.
No, it came off his thigh slightly. That's the reason
Are
they
you
didn't
serious?
Give it.
That's what they didn't give it for.
Yeah. So that's why
he stopped a goal with his hand.
Yeah, but so they need to take it's a natural position, and he gains an advantage.
Yeah. From
it hitting his hand, but because it hit his thigh slightly, it's the slightest of touches. They didn't give it.
So you're saying in the rules at the moment, if the ball came in for a corner and you chested it onto your arm,
yeah,
it wouldn't be a pen.
No.
I'm sorry, but how does that work? So you're saying I can go up for a corner now, chest it down, and then just like parry it away with my arm?
Yeah. I mean,
it bounced off my chest. I didn't know what was happening.
Yes, technically,
Oh my word! That's I feel I was angry. You know how pro Aston Villa I am because of the prediction I made at the start of the season, but I was pissed for Southampton yesterday. That was just so unjust.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you have the same person like implementing the rules for every single game that goes on, the rules are so open to interpretation. The application of it can't be consistent.
Yeah.
So if you've got different referees that've got different opinions reading the same set of rules, they're going to apply it differently. Right? But the rules aren't clear enough to be consistent. So, but I mean that rule of Ben saying like if it comes off another part of your body then hits your hand, that can be applied consistently, but it's just wrong. Like that's just something that is just common sense of saying, well, if I if I chested it and then did that, is that not going to be handball, or is that like what do you mean? Like, come on, like, it can be interpreted in so many different ways.
If you chested it and rolled down your arm straight to your player, does that not count then?
Yeah, you start doing some sort of like around your chest.
Yeah.
It's
dear.
Strange rule. I mean, despite those decisions, Southampton smashed Villa that game. Absolutely smashed. Yeah. Those are the worst type of games to lose, where you actually smash the opposition.
Yeah.
Don't score, and then they go and get one.
Yeah, I know. Because Barkley's goal was just after the penalty, wasn't it? Good goal, fair enough, but shouldn't have even happened. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I felt coming out of some games like against Tottenham. I see Tottenham and Man United. People that placed up there, those two, like Man United and Tottenham, they come out of games thinking, how have we just lost that game? Because as far as on the pitch, we just battered them, but they still won the game. And those are probably the most frustrating that you can lose as well.
You're talking to City and Chelsea, who passed the ball around, and Liverpool, I guess, as well. We passed the ball around for about 70 minutes of the game and then still lose sometimes. I'd say Chelsea more than Liverpool and City.
But then Spurs can play 7 at the back and then score a goal and then just lock up shop. Mourinho.
Well, those sort of performances aren't going to win you games against the Big Six and Europa and Champions League football. I think that to do well, you know, as I said, against the top 6 and internationally, you have to be able to dominate a game, and you know, because then when it turns into a 50-50 game and the game is brought to you, you need to take those chances and, you know, you need to be clinical, but you also need to know how to build up the play as these experienced teams do. And if you don't know how to do that, which it doesn't seem, Man United can't do that at the moment. They can't build up the play to score from open play. And if they can't do that, how are they going to score against Barca, if not anyone in the Europa League? So
there's nothing wrong with the Europa League.
And to be fair, I got to be a little bit careful. We're only in 4th place, but on the other hand, I will say, well, I don't know if we want to bring up the table and talk a little bit about that now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think it's quite interesting.
City suffered from that type of loss quite a few times last year, where we dominated games and still lost. So
yeah. Well, look at City's form though. 5 wins and 5 only team to do that. United have dropped quite a few points in the last 5 games, to be honest. Leicester, as I said before, solid. They're not losing games, which is kind of the main thing if you want to be getting that top 4 spot. Bloody hell, Liverpool's form is shocking.
Well, it hasn't got the.
Hey, your form's as bad as ours, so screw you.
No, we won this weekend, so it missed out on the Tottenham game.
Maybe. No, that's with the Tottenham game.
Reverse.
Really? Oh, is it on the left-hand side of the
major
performance?
Okay. We could have if we beat Burnley, we would have a better last 5 games than you. So just saying. West Ham in good form. Second best form in the league at this point, I think. Bloody hell, they're doing really well. Spurs, don't care. Everton, they're playing all right, I guess. Villa not playing very well, to be honest. But they've had that COVID hit, so you can understand why.
Yeah.
But they beat Southampton, which is a team who were above them, I think, and they've gone ahead of them now. So fair enough to them. Arsenal probably 3rd most informed team right now after City and West Ham. So fair play to you guys turning it around this season. I give you that. And then
2nd best defense in the league currently is what I'm going to say. Thank you.
Yeah, and then there's Chelsea. We don't have to talk about that, do we? In 10th, Southampton not doing brilliantly of late, but they've been unlucky, as we said. Leeds might get that 10th spot, Ben. You never know. You did predict it, so you never know.
I predicted them to get 10th. I mean,
at the start of the season, yeah.
I mean, if they get like 11th, 12th, I'll still be happy with that prediction, because I did back them to do semi-well. So
yeah, fair enough. Palace have got Zaha back, but doesn't seem, because of that. I think that's why they lost those two games that they've had that loss. They didn't have Zaha, so it'd be interesting to see how they do with that.
Eberechi Eze is very good though. He's very.
But I think you with the Palace side like that, you do need more than just Eze.
Yeah. I mean, credit to where credit's due. Palace's goal against Wolves, really nice build up.
Such a nice goal from Eze.
Really nice build up play, and then when it came to Eze, he was like, came to, and he's like, oh no, I'm going in this pocket.
Yeah. He hits it so hard.
Yeah.
He hits it so hard. It's one of those balls which just doesn't move. It's just a straight power shot. It was fantastic. Wolves doing really badly.
They're struggling.
They're missing Jimenez, I think, a lot.
Yeah.
I think Burnley have 19 games, and so do Leeds actually. So I think Leeds and Burnley could move up the table quite a bit. Burnley hopefully will lose against us, but those last 2 wins, they do make me worry. If we're playing them today at 12, we'll do the score prediction shortly. Newcastle were doing really badly, and I think we expected them to be the most out of form team. But would you say they still are?
They've been poor. They've been really poor. They've got a lot more problems on the pitch at the moment as well. The fans aren't happy. The board isn't happy. The players aren't happy. It's just not a good. It's not a good connection.
No, and the fans are just really, really not happy. Twitter. I've seen some Newcastle fans on Twitter just hate Steve Bruce.
Yeah.
Brighton, kind of the unlucky team, I feel like, considering how they play, but they could get relegated this season because I think Fulham. I know Fulham have only drawn 2, lost 2, drawn 3, lost 2, but they played Chelsea, Spurs, and United in that period of time.
Mm.
So you've got to give them fair play for that.
I mean, I'd quite like to see Brighton get relegated so that players like Basuma and Lamptey can get brought back up to the Premier League. I think.
That's because you're one of the favourites to buy in Basuma, whatever his name is.
Basuma is he's very good.
He's had links with Barcelona, so.
But I mean,
he's had links with Barcelona, but I think it was links just in case they didn't get Wijnaldum, but they've got Wijnaldum, so.
Not yet.
I think
they've got Wijnaldum. Fulham, we've spoken about. West Brom, and they're doing nothing special, are they? Really, they brought in Big Sam, and he hasn't done much. They drew with City and they drew with Liverpool, and haven't done much since. So
they when they drew with us, it was Bilic's last game.
Oh, it was Bilic's last game. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I was just on Newcastle. Like maybe that result yesterday might be a turning point for them, but you never know. They might just go straight back to the way they were.
Yeah, so. We'll see. And then there's certainly relegated Sheffield, who did
those 2 wins.
I fancy a revival.
Mate, that would be shock of the season though. Depends if Leicester or Villa won the league, then that would be shock of the season. But I think that also if Sheffield United stay up, that would be equally shocking.
I think Brewster's going to come in and he's just going to score like 20 goals in like 6 games, and they're going to get out the relegation zone, and he's going to go down as a club legend.
No, he's not. He's not good enough. He's not good enough. All right,
I would say this about Sheffield: they might not survive relegation, but they're only 3 points off the worst record now. So you would expect them to beat that.
Yeah, well, considering they beat United recently and they only lost 1-0 to City, you can't really say that's a bad 2 games.
The last couple of seasons, they've been kind of the top half of the table, which is kind of. I think they finished 7th or 8th one season. I think.
Last season, yeah, they did. That's the last season they came up.
So
it's difficult for them because I remember Chris Wilder saying at the start of the season, 20 million back in the day gets you a decent Premier League striker. 20 million now gets you a youth player, which is when you're trying to stay in the Prem is not ideal.
No,
because with a youth player having to wait for them to mature and hit the peak, but because you need that striker straight away, so it's difficult for them.
Well, as Brewster's probably a championship striker, so if they do get relegated, then that's where he should be anyway. So
yeah, true. Well, should we talk about fixtures? Chelsea, Burnley. Let's get some score predictions from Fab first.
I'll go with 2-1 Chelsea, I think.
Okay. Cam? I know you'll go Burnley, but go on, give us a score.
I mean, can you go against Burnley? They just beat. No. Chelsea were good. They were really good in the last game. Tuchel, I think Burnley's probably might suit you as well because they're going to give you the ball. But it's just what you do with it. You just need to score. That's the only thing that you've missed in that last game. And Burnley will invite that. I don't think Burnley they're not going to look for anything else but a set piece. So I'd go for like a 2-0 Chelsea as well. I'll go.
All right, Ben. That's the first time you think you've gone not against Chelsea in your predictions.
Well,
I'll go 2-1 Chelsea.
Listen to this, boys. 3-0 Chelsea. 3-0 Chelsea. Okay, we're not going to concede, and we're going to wipe them off the park. That's my prediction.
He's back in the new manager bounce.
I am absolutely. We're not interested about this Leicester and Leeds. Probably think Leicester will win. Liverpool game. Fab, score predictions, please.
It's a tricky one, but it's a
West Ham's second most informed team.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, but if we're going to win the league, we have to beat them.
So you're going
I'll go 2-0 Liverpool.
Okay. Cam.
It's a tough one because West Ham are playing quite well, and Liverpool. I'm not. I'm not convinced by Liverpool being as good as they should be. I think they could have an off game as well. So, but I still back Liverpool. I'll go. Nah, actually, no. I'll go for a draw. We're going to go for a draw.
Ooh.
I'm going to go for a. I'll go for a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Ben.
2.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is a tricky one.
I'm trying to decide where I think West Ham will score.
So that's what. So 2 to Liverpool.
Yeah, 2-0. 2-0.
2-0. Okay. Just to clarify for everyone watching, Ben is on 0 points on predictions, and me, Cam, and Fab are on 2 points for predictions. Just throwing that out there.
I predict who's going to win, but I don't get the result right.
Hey, who's on 2 points? Who's on 0 points?
And I was talking to my dad actually. It's a very harsh scoring system because usually in predictions it's 1 point for getting the result right, and then 3 points or 2 points for getting the score right.
Yeah, but we don't want the scores to be massive, and I've got to keep tally of them. So it's just easier if it's 1 point for the score, because it makes it like you have to analyze the game a lot more rather than just going, okay, this team will win, because otherwise you're guaranteed probably it's a 50-50 every time.
No, it's not.
Is it not?
No.
It's a 50-50 for 1 point each time.
No.
No?
They could draw.
There's three results that can happen.
Oh, yeah, but you're more likely to, if it's Liverpool, Burnley, you're guaranteed probably, sorry, Liverpool, Sheffield United, you're pretty much, no, actually. Liverpool, Newcastle. Liverpool, Newcastle, you're pretty much guaranteed to know who's winning that. That's an instant point, let's be honest. That's all I'm saying. Anyway,
not quite.
Spurs, we don't mind about. Sheffield United, West Brom, bottom of the table tie. Wolves, Arsenal, score predictions, Fab.
I think Wolves need to bounce back a little bit, but I think Arsenal are pretty in form at the moment. I was quite impressed with them against United, so I'll go 2-0 Arsenal.
Okay. Cam.
3-0 Arsenal.
Ooh.
No, Ben.
2-1 Arsenal.
Okay. I'm going 3-1 Arsenal. Just because I think Wolves might get a goal, but I think Arsenal will beat them quite comfortably. Big game after that on the Tuesday, United Southampton. That would be an interesting game. I think Southampton will have a point to prove, and it depends on what United turn up on that game. I think because I wouldn't say their confidence is high right now, but you never know with United, to be honest.
I fancy Southampton to take 3 points, so I'll be honest. Yeah. Especially how Ings is playing at the moment. I'm really
and United have only lost at home this season, so that's quite an interesting stat.
Honestly, that Sheffield loss for Man United is the start of the decline.
Hopefully,
they have like 3 months of good form and they decline.
Mate, imagine if they don't even get top 4 or top 6. That would be just hilarious.
Yeah, I think that is the catalyst.
I think they might do it, to be honest. I said even when they were at the top of the table, you know, I say this over and over again, but I think especially this week as well, it's still Liverpool and City who are going to win. None of the teams you saw when United went to the top of the table, they didn't know what to do with themselves. It was the first time they'd been up there since Sir Alex Ferguson, and they just didn't know what to do, and they've dropped 5 points now, and you know, we're going to overtake them sooner or later. I'm not worried about that. Yeah,
right. I wouldn't write off United just yet, though.
They don't have the
just like. But this is
facilities for that, boss man.
the like you say, they're not struggling, but like they've had a few poor games, but they're still up there. They're still
It's
up
their
there.
style of play and their performance against the top six. You can't win them if you're not getting points against the top six. I mean, I'm not saying they're guaranteed not top four. I think they probably will get top four realistically.
Yeah.
But I don't see how you can play such a kind of closed-minded games in the big games. And you see Solskjaer in the interviews talking about the Arsenal game, and he's happy with that result. He's not digging into his players. He's not trying to have a go or put the blame on anyone. He's like, yeah, we played well, unfortunate result, we should have got the winner. Whereas a United that scares me is one that goes, we should have got the 3 points, screw the ref, we should have had a pen, all that bollocks, right? So, as long as they keep like that, it's not a worry in the world for me.
Fair enough.
I think, what was I going to say then?
Anyway, do you want to, whilst you think, should we do the Burnley City score quickly? Fab.
Burnley on a bit of a bounce, aren't they? So I will go with, I feel like Burnley are going to score. I go with 3-1 City.
Okay. Cam?
I just think City are too good. They're just too good at the moment.
Yeah.
They're going to win. And I think City's defence is too good as well.
They rested a lot of players as well midweek against, I've forgotten who it was, West Brom or whatever.
I still think, even if they play, whoever they play in defence, I think they're still better.
They've got so many 50 million centre backs now, I lose count. Just bring another one in.
But then, if they don't play Diaz, if they don't play Cancelo, they've still got a very strong defence. So I'd say Burnley City. I'd go. I think they've got a bit of a point to prove with I think 1-0 against Sheffield isn't a good enough result for them. So I think they're going to come out strong against Burnley. And I think it's going to be 3-0. I think
2-0,
3-0,
3-0. All right, Ben.
2-0 City.
Oh, he's gone for a clean sheet. I'm in shock, boys. I'm in shock.
Actually, no.
No, that's too late. I've written it down. 2-1. It's too late. It's too late.
2-1. 2-1.
Written it down. It's too late.
No.
Damn it. I'm going to go kind of a shock result here. I'm going to go 1-1.
Wow.
If as I said before, City are kind of looking like the old City again earlier on in the season, and Burnley are really kind of playing quite well recently. But then again, if they get spanked by us today, which I think they will, then they may not. I'm changing my result. 2-0. 2-0 to City. I'm taking Ben's initial one. All right. Before we wrap things up, go on.
I was just going to say, with like you say, United, if there's a season that like a United or like an Everton or Villa will get top four, it's this season, because it's just so unpredictable. I mean, maybe not United, because I think United will get top four, but like you say, the other teams that are slightly below that this is the season they could get top four. But United, they're still up there.
Unfortunately,
hopefully not for long. But
yeah. Well, speaking of kind of unpredictable, why don't we do a bit of a stab in the dark for the Champions League winners, League Cup winners, which is 50-50, which is why it's only 1 point, and the Premier League winners, which I thought 6 points because it's a lot more volatile than the Champions League winners, which I give 5 points because it's slightly easier to predict that, would you say? Slightly? I don't know.
Can we vote for our own teams?
Huh?
Can we vote for our own teams?
How should we have a vote? I say no.
I presume we can't pick a foreign team.
No, we can't pick our own teams.
I don't mind. I mean,
Yeah,
I was going to pick Arsenal for Europa League, but
Oh wait, we haven't done your. Oh, we'll do Europa League as well. Shoot.
you can't forget about the greatest tournament in Europe.
All right. Well, Fab, do you want to start us off with the Champions League winners?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm thinking about it now. If we can vote for our own teams, I don't see myself not picking Liverpool for any of them. So I'll try and I'll stay away from Liverpool for now. Champions League winners. It's been a while since I've watched it, to be honest. I'm looking forward to it coming back. Oh, it's a tricky one now. I think about it. I do kind of feel like it's City's year a little bit, but they haven't done anything different this season than they have the last 3 seasons. So I can't put them down to win it.
I'm never confident.
I'm trying to think of any dominant European teams at the moment, like in their division.
Bayern.
I mean, Bayern, PSG.
No teams really. I think Bayern only recently.
Bayern, they lost. Was it to Mönchengladbach?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "Oh, the Bayern is gone. They're not the same." But I think they went 10 points ahead in the league yesterday or something. So,
I think I will go with Bayern just because, they've been good this season and they've just like sustained what they had last season. But no, I can't think the Italian league is all over the place, right? I think it's like AC Milan or Inter Milan are top of the league. PSG on what they were last season. They must be top now, but they started, pretty poorly. Spanish league, everyone's in debt from the sounds of it, so that's quite funny to watch.
Atletico are really far ahead, and they've got games in hand as well, haven't they? So
yeah, but I don't think Atleti, they did knock us out last season, but I don't quite think they're the team to win it.
No, but we've got them in our round right now, so I'm kind of worried.
I'd be worried if I were you, because they are a good team, but I think you've almost got to have more experience getting into the latter rounds of the Champions League to really consistently do well, and they haven't been that far recently from what I remember. So
did you want to hear the state of play of La Liga?
Yeah.
Have you got time?
Yeah. Should be fine.
Okay, cool. Atletico are on 47 points with 18 games played.
Oh wow.
Madrid are on 40 points, 20 games played. So
they lost yesterday as well, by the way. Madrid lost yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. They lost against a really bad team because I've got headliners Benzema in my ultimate team, so I keep a bit of tabs on Real Madrid, and unfortunately they really are bad. So I've got headliners Benzema thinking, I look at their fixtures and I'm like, I don't recognise any of these teams. We should get 4 wins, get them up to 94 rated. Nope, they lost yesterday.
Yeah. So yeah, Atletico got 2 games in hand and are 7 points ahead. So
that is impressive. That is good for them. They've got Suarez now, haven't they? Up front?
Yeah.
Suarez and João Felix up top, which is not a bad partnership. So I'm bricking it for when we play them. Cam, we haven't got your Champions League winners yet, though.
I was thinking, I think Bayern are just a different breed. I think they are really good. But then I see PSG with Pochettino. It kind of is a bit written in the stars that Pochettino wins the Champions League with PSG, but not with Tottenham after getting to the final. But then also Juventus have got. I look at Juventus and I think they're not doing great in the league, but they've got a team that could perform against anybody and win against anyone. So those are kind of 3 I'm thinking about. But I think I'd have to go for. I'll go for PSG. I'll switch up from 5. I'll go for PSG.
Fair enough. All right, Ben.
Bayern,
straight in there.
The 7 points ahead now because Leipzig won their game in hand, but still easily top. So yeah, Bayern.
All right. Well, you see, I'm going for Manchester City.
Brave.
I'm going bold because I think you've got the best defense you've had for a long time since Company left. I think even when Company was there in his last couple of seasons, it's better than it was then. So I think you've got the depth for it as well. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a City Bayern Munich final, if I'm going to be honest, unless they obviously meet beforehand. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going Man City.
I'm never confident in the Champions League.
No, I know, but that's why Cam's gone for PSG. Like, it's a fairy tale story. I think it'd be quite fairy tale if City could win it this season because they've tried so hard for so long.
Fair enough.
League Cup winners, Fab. So between Spurs and City. So that's why it's only 1 point.
I'll go Spurs. I think Mourinho's still got a bit of magic in his grey hair, so I think he might.
I know which Cam's going to go for.
It's got to be City.
Yeah. Should we allow Ben to pick his team?
Yeah, like this. It's difficult when it's only. I'm choosing City, obviously.
Yeah, I've chosen City as well. I think City.
I think that's. I mean, based purely off every time I've played Tottenham recently, I've said it countless times. We've been so unlucky with VAR against them. So I'm just hoping there's no VAR controversy in this game, and we can like get a bit of revenge.
Fair enough. Well, Europa League winners, Fab.
I'm kind of half tempted to go for Leicester. I thought they were dark horses in that, but they also in the group stages they qualified, but it required like a last minute winner from Vardy, and he's now out injured.
To be fair to them though, every game they put out their second team.
Yeah.
So
it's a tricky one. I'm trying to think of the teams from the Champions League that qualified for it. Ajax is quite a big one.
Ajax is big. But I don't think
Man United, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's not forget about them. But I don't think they'll win it either. I'm not going to pick them to win it either way. It doesn't matter how well they're doing. I think I'll go with Leicester. I quite like them, and you know, you're right. They have been putting out a second team, and I think they can surprise some big teams.
Well, I'd say they are a big team now, to be honest.
Yeah, not Europe in European football.
No. But I mean, like Europa League big team, kind of. They'll be a tough team to face in the Europa League.
But I think a lot of teams will actually almost not necessarily underestimate them, but I think they'll be surprised this Leicester team that comes out with quality players.
Yeah, Cam.
Will you let me pick Arsenal? Was that allowed?
We're allowing it.
Yeah, I'll go for Arsenal then. Well, I can't not. Come on.
All right, Ben. I wouldn't be surprised if you go Spurs. Yeah, I literally was saying I wouldn't be surprised if you go Spurs. I'd do it. I knew you go Spurs. I'm going for Leicester. I think I mentioned it before to someone. I'm going Leicester.
All right.
Like I'm saying Spurs because I'm basing that on every time Mourinho has managed in the UEFA Cup or Europa League, he's won it. So
really,
yeah,
fair enough. Well,
impressive.
I think me and Cam was the last thing we want them to do is to win a trophy this season.
They should just fold. Honestly, they should just.
Big one now. And we can talk about the Chelsea lineup. I haven't looked at it yet, which is coming out now. Don't know spoilers yet. I'll look at it after we've done the Premier League winners. Fab.
I mean, if you're gonna let Cam pick Arsenal, I want to pick Liverpool for the Prem winners. I just can't see myself backing anyone else. I'm not gonna back City for the title. Just go against my beliefs. So it's got to be Liverpool.
Cam.
City. It's got to be City.
Not a chance.
It's got to be. It has to be.
Right.
I don't feel it.
Are we back? Are we allowed to back our own teams?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'll back City then. Won't I?
And you know what? I'm backing it as well. City.
So,
but with the Champions League, the Premier League, and the Europa League, if our team gets knocked out, sorry, not with the Premier League because obviously they don't get knocked out, but with the Europa League, the Champions League, and the FA Cup, if our team gets knocked out, you're allowed to pick one other team, no matter what stage you are in the thing, and you get.
Well, should we say apart from the final?
Well, the finals, that's the end.
Yeah, but if your team doesn't
Yeah,
really
I mean,
the other
it'll be a point. It'll be only 1 point into.
Yeah, it's only 1 point. So if you get knocked out in the semis, you get to pick. But the final obviously is the final, so it's between your team and someone else.
Okay.
And we picked those when they got knocked out, not now.
Huh?
And we pick those teams, our alternative teams, when they get knocked out, not now.
Yeah. So when our team gets knocked out that we've picked, then we get to replace. So Fab has already put Spurs as his second choice for FA Cup winners, and then he only gets 1 point for that. But if Spurs get knocked out, Fab is out of the FA Cup points possibilities.
Right.
Anyway, can I just have a quick look at before we wrap this up? I want to see the Chelsea team, and then
He's playing Alonso.
Oh. Oh.
It's the 3-4-3, so he's playing left wing back. But I just know he doesn't like Alonso, so
I hate Alonso, man.
So he's playing Alonso over Chilwell? Or is he playing Alonso?
Yeah, he's playing Alonso over Chilwell. He's playing Jorginho and Kovacic. Yeah, oh my god,
I thought Chilwell played quite well. Maybe he's resting in because he's playing.
No, he didn't play. He didn't play very well though against Wolves. Actually, he was average at best. To be honest, I'm really nervous now. Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching. Is there anything else anyone wants to talk about quickly before we?
Okay, good.
That's it for me.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. This was the Purple Show. And if you enjoyed it, do give it a like. And if you're new around here, please hit the subscribe button. We've actually finally gone out of our little blip we were going through where we got to 684, back down to 680, up to 684. We did about 5-6 times. Now we're at 686. So hopefully you've broken the mold. Thank you guys for watching and goodbye.